Now that we're in the summer shutdown for the F1 season, I figured it would be a good time to talk about driver moves, and specifically a guy under pressure, Valtteri Bottas. I'm going to go through all the options that Bottas has for next year, including staying with Mercedes or going elsewhere. Either Williams or Alfa Romeo seem the most likely options for him. Personally, I can't see him moving anywhere else within the F1 paddock, as there hasn't really been any indication that he's in contact with any other than those three teams. So I'm going to stick to those in this video and evaluate what is the best option for him. Starting with Mercedes, his current team. From their perspective, keeping Valtteri wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. They'd have a fast driver who can occasionally get close and beat their star, without causing chaos or bringing any toxicity to the team. However, that's about it. There are probably more plus sides to bringing in George Russell than keeping Valtteri. He's far younger and has proven to be just as quick in the same car as we remember from Sakir. With a new regulation change comes a new chance to test the waters with a new lineup. Russell won't be at any disadvantage to Hamilton, as neither driver would have any experience in driving the new cars. It's the same for everyone. Wait a year and George may find himself on the back foot, which wouldn't be ideal coming to a team that wants to be consistently at the front and winning. As of the Hungarian Grand Prix, Bottas is also behind Lando Norris in the customer McLaren. And from Mercedes' point of view, having a driver that may lose out to one of their customer teams is not a good look. So all in all, given what I've just said and the way all the paddock rumours are going, it seems Mercedes are going to go with Russell for next year, but obviously nothing's set in stone yet. Either way, would staying at Mercedes be the best thing for Valtteri? In my opinion, I don't think it would. He's already been there for 5 years and has never challenged Hamilton for the championship, and all that's doing is dragging down his reputation. We've seen in the past when he was at Williams before, he is capable of leading a midfield team, a close to top team. Being in the shadow of Hamilton doesn't allow the world to see how good he is. All we see is he's just consistently getting beaten by his teammate. That's not a good look for him. However, if he were to go to a midfield team and be the #1 driver and lead them back to the front like an Alfa Romeo or Williams, then that will do wonders for his reputation. He finds himself in a similar position right now to someone like Carlos Sainz in 2018. Carlos was struggling at Renault, he was losing to his teammate, but he decided to take a chance and go to McLaren, who are a bottom 2 team, and he's led them back to the position which they're in now, and look how that's affected his reputation in a positive way. For Bottas, he could do the same thing, going to Williams or Alfa Romeo. Lead them back to the front with all his experience and knowledge he's gained from Mercedes and learning from someone like Lewis Hamilton. And taking them back to the front would boost his reputation through the roof. We'd all be able to see just how good he really is. Out of these two teams, which would be the best choice for Valtteri and what seems to be the most likely to happen? Starting with Alfa Romeo, they're now fully committed as a title sponsor for the F1 team, so with the knowledge of that stability, it could be a good choice for Valtteri. Next year is a clean slate for everyone, so you can't predict who's going to be fast and who won't be based on the current pecking order. Their team principal, Fred Vasseur, was reportedly seen in the Mercedes motorhome 10 times during the Hungarian Grand Prix weekend, which could well be due to Bottas. So if he's interested, it's there for the taking. As for his teammate, it will most likely be someone like Callum Ilott or Antonio Giovinazzi. I don't think either will trouble him all that much. For Callum, he's going to be a rookie, so he'll be learning on the go, which will be good for Bottas and good for Callum himself to learn from an experienced and quick driver. For Gio, although he's solid, his pace advantage over Kimi hasn't been all that convincing, And if you remember how Valtteri Bottas decimated Felipe Massa, a driver who was at least as fast as Kimi, and the way he's improved at Mercedes, getting closer and closer to Hamilton, especially in qualifying over the years, he's in another league in terms of speed and will probably have his measure. So if he were to choose Alfa Romeo, it's likely he'd be the number one driver, and with a team that's now financially secure for all the new regulations, that's a very appealing choice. As I've said already, the only other option I see for him in F1 is at Williams. It will be a direct swap with Russell, and he'd be going to familiar territory, a place where he used to be the team leader, and for new regulations, any driver would want familiarity, as that would make things a whole lot easier when adapting to a new car. He's rumoured to be Williams' first choice for the seat next year should they lose George, and have stated they're no longer reliant on pay drivers, so taking the experience and speed of a known quantity Bottas is surely appealing. As for who'd be alongside him, they have a long list of candidates. There's current driver Latifi, who could well stay after bagging points in Hungary, and their team boss has hinted that Nicholas is in a good position to retain his drive. If he were to partner Bottas, I'd expect it to be a similar dynamic to what he has with George. Probably not on his pace on Saturdays, but as is the case with Latifi, he's capable of making up the ground on Sundays. Another one is Nico Hülkenberg, who like Bottas has also been at Williams before, although just for a year and much less recently, not in the hybrid era. This will be a very strong driver lineup indeed. Both are very fast drivers and capable of bringing home good results. For the Williams team, having two experienced drivers of this calibre will surely help them drive further up the grid. Lastly is the current Mercedes Formula E drivers, Stoffel Vandoorne and Nick de Vries. Nick de Vries seems to be the preferred choice for Williams by Mercedes over Stoffel, probably due to his current Formula E results and also the fact he's got such an outstanding junior record but never ended up in F1. Besides, Stoffel has had his chance in F1 and didn't exactly take it. Let's not forget, Nick de Vries was the one to beat Latifi to the F2 title in 2019, so he'd surely be an upgrade. So, which of these two teams would be best for Valtteri? At the moment, given Williams' points haul in Hungary, they're now ahead of Alfa Romeo in the standings, and hence will be receiving more prize money for next year as it stands. So if I were Bottas, I'd be looking at Williams as the team to go to, as they seem to be on better form and on an upward trajectory, whilst Alfa Romeo have sort of stagnated over the past couple of seasons. But what is more likely to happen? To me, it seems it's leaning towards Bottas going to Alfa Romeo. Publicly, we've seen Fred Vasseur in the Mercedes motorhome. We've seen Bottas and Fred having frequent conversations on the ways in and out of the paddock. So to me, from the outside, it seems Bottas is heading towards the Alfa Romeo route. But as we know in F1, things can change very quickly, and there are probably plenty of things going on in the background that we don't know about. But all in all, the point I'm trying to make is Bottas going to a midfield team like a Williams or an Alfa Romeo and leading them, whether it's back to the front or just further up the grid, would be better for his reputation than just staying at Mercedes and being Hamilton's wingman. On the face of it, going from the best or second best team to a team that can barely score points surely can't be the best thing for a racing driver, right? Well, in Bottas's case, he's never going to win the World Championship for Mercedes. Let's be real, up against Hamilton, never going to happen. But going somewhere else, like Alfa Romeo or Williams, where he can show just how good he really is, and if he can prove that he's worthy of winning and worthy of a car that can regularly fight for wins, the opportunity will come again. So So there you have it. That's my take on what Bottas should do next year. Obviously it's not entirely his decision. He can't just say, oh, I want to stay at Mercedes and just sign a contract. No, it's a team decision. So if the team don't want him, well, he has to go. Let me know in the comments what you think Valtteri Bottas should do next year. Does he deserve the Mercedes drive, or should he go elsewhere to a midfield team and prove just how good a driver he really is?